Welcome to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. We're continuing with this crazy weather of hot, cold, and then we wonder why everyone is sick all the time. And today, I wanted to make gumbo because it's cold again, and I kept going back and forth. Should I go to the store and get the ingredients to make the gumbo, or should I just not? And I kind of also wanted to take advantage of my fireplace in my new apartment and couldn't because I had to work at the day job today, so didn't happen. But we're struggling along with this wonderful weather that we're having, and Kory Champagne is joining us tonight as guest co-host. He is the pie maker behind Acadian Slice. You guys may have found him at the farmer's market. Are you there every Saturday now, or is it still every other Saturday?
Every Saturday now, unless extenuating circumstances exist. But yeah, most Saturdays from 8 to 12, I'm there slinging pie.
What do you think of this crazy weather? It's like gumbo.
We tried
summer weather.
Saturday.
Gumbo.
We had a little bit of rain at the market, and people were saying the same thing, that they were going to go home and bundle up. But it'll be 90 degrees tomorrow, and everyone will be complaining about that. So we'll just see what happens.
My grandmother, who is very wise in all weather related events, was talking to me about, she said that in North Louisiana, they were supposed to be getting some sleet, and that she mentioned that always around Easter, we get this wacky weather, and it snowed sometimes around Easter in North Louisiana, which she's right. I remember vaguely as a child going up there for Easter one summer and building a snowman. So like a little tiny, Cajun snowman, but it was still a snowman around Easter time. So it's crazy. God.
Try to stay warm in a seersucker suit on
But
Easter
pies you can have year round.
I agree.
So any type of weather is good. Pie weather is good. Pie weather. I was celebrating my birthday this week, and I just wrote a blog post for the Lafayette Food Junkie website on all the free apps, free food apps that you can get for your birthday, and I fully took advantage of that this week. Are you a fan of the food apps for the chain restaurants that they have around town?
The only one I knew about, which we said you could get a free drink at Starbucks for your birthday. I knew that.
So that's pretty much the most well-known one, is the Starbucks. You sign up. It's so easy with that one. And then for your birthday, you can get either a breakfast sandwich or a coffee. Moe's Southwest Grill, you can get a free burrito for your birthday. Grub Burger, it's a free milkshake. And then when you sign up for that one, you get a free hamburger. So that's an excuse right there to sign up for that one.
If it's your birthday on a Saturday, I'll give you a free pie at the market.
Okay, he's saying it now.
Bring ID.
No app needed.
Bring ID.
No app needed. Just bring your ID. Yes. He will give you a free
You can lie to me, and I'll probably still give it to you.
Okay, nice to know. And then La Madeline does a free breakfast pastry or a slice of cake, too. So I thought it was neat, and I've fully taken advantage of it this week, using all my apps and getting all my free stuff, saving some money. So it's a little balling on a budget.
No, you need to make fake IDs. So you can
to do it year round. Why are you giving my followers bad advice to break the law? Don't do that. Do not. I also invested in a veggie bullet. Are you familiar with what a veggie bullet is?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're not familiar, it's almost like a food processor, but it also spiralizes your veggies at the same time. So instead of that hand crank one, you can kind of do it in there, and it's supposed to do it all for you and look super easy peasy. Well, I'm planning on making a cauliflower crust pizza tonight.
You had to rice it up.
Wanted to use the ricer. That was one of the things that I was mainly wanting it for. A lot more elbow grease goes into that than what is on that beautiful infomercial that they show you. You kind of have to like shove the cauliflower down in there to get it shredded, and it kind of makes a big mess.
Oh, sure.
I kind of pieces of cauliflower all over my kitchen right now, all over the countertop. So it was my first time using it. It may get easier as time goes on, but
we almost bought the baby food version of it, the baby bullet, which I always
I have a NutriBullet and I love it.
Name for a product.
Yeah.
But we wound up just blending it all up in a Ninja or something.
Yeah, you said you used the Ninja and
we made all our baby food when my kid was small.
Oh, really?
And the Ninja was awesome. We would just puree everything to
And I have a NutriBullet that I use for smoothies and stuff, and I absolutely love it for that. And I was kind of using it as a mini food processor. So now I just have like the bigger version of it. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to use it for slicing because I'm planning on pickling experiments again. I was doing kimchi and other kind of pickle things. Fan of pickling and preserving. I want to try turnips and onions. I did
watermelon rind one time.
I actually really like that. Yeah, I love pickles.
I did like a sweet brine with it, but I've done pickles and okra and all that stuff too. So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try. I want to try the turnips. I've been looking at recipes online. I found out to get the pink color, you add beets to it, and then pickled onions too.
I did jardiniere, which is like it's cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots and all kind of stuff, and it's great just on a salad or just eat it with a fork.
I may have a booth soon at the farmer's market. We joked about that on one of the shows. I was terrified about the kimchi. I was making it. We were calling it grimchi because I wasn't exactly sure. Kill everybody. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to come out.
They just started the Cultured Guru.
Yes,
people that do fermented
so they have
foods.
people out there that are doing
pickles and some other stuff too. So.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we have Alliance Française de Lafayette. And they're going to be talking about an event, Dining at the Cameroon, coming up. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and Kory Champagne with Acadian Slice is joining us tonight as guest co-host. And we also have in the studio Miss Odile and Maggie with Alliance Française de Lafayette, and they're coming on to talk about Cuisine of the French World, a trip to Cameroon. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay, so how did the idea for the event come about?
How did it come about? We have a really active board at Alliance Française de Lafayette. And see, I'm about to switch into French. So I think it was your idea, wasn't it, Odile?
Yes, I was just thinking about, having some fun activities, not talk about only, literature, music. I know that people love to eat, and I just said, okay, why don't we try something around, food? And that's how we end up, organizing, this event.
I think that this is a fabulous idea. I saw the event posted last week on social media, and I was just like, this is great. And this is your inaugural one, and you guys are potentially planning to explore other ones. Don't really know the time frame yet on that, but this is something that's going to potentially continue on.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, and you guys are starting with the Cameroon. Why did y'all want to start there?
Okay. I think as someone who was born in Cameroon and loving my country and being a French citizen, and being a member of the Alliance Française, board member. So I was just thinking about, starting with all the countries, of the board members. And we were discussing with other members, and they just said, okay, why don't we start with Cameroon? But it wasn't that I decided to do it. But we decided together.
I like that idea as well. So what are some of the courses that they're going to be having at the dinner? What is some of the cuisine like of Cameroon?
It will be very interesting. And I can't wait to share this part of my heritage with the city of Lafayette. So we're going to have an aperitif. And for the aperitif, we're going to have the hibiscus.
Yeah. A sort of hibiscus, like a hibiscus
juice
drink.
Ooh, okay.
or ginger juice. That's going to be the drink. And we're going to have an appetizer, a Cameroonian appetizer. We call that misole. Misole, it's, I don't know if you heard about plantain.
Okay, yes.
Plantanos for the Mexican, because everybody is invited. So we're gonna have plantain, some fried plantain with some roasted beef, braised beef, and we call that soya. So the appetizer will be misole and soya. So plantain and braised meat. And for the entree, we're gonna have ndole. Ndole, it's some green leaves.
Okay.
Originally from Cameroon. Since we don't have that here because it's so far from here, so we decided to use the spinach, les épinards, and we're gonna cook that with some fresh shrimp and onions, and we're gonna have some tomato, no peanuts, because in Cameroon we do that with peanuts. But since we know that a lot of people are very allergic, so we decided to do that without. And we're gonna serve that with rice and sweet potatoes. And for the dessert, we're gonna have a fondant au chocolat au gingembre. So it's a kind of chocolate cake, fondant, with the ginger flavor.
Oh my God, that sounds so delicious.
It's delicious.
I cannot wait till next Saturday. So tickets are $30 for one person, couples are $50, and this is happening Saturday, March 18th at the UL Alumni Center. There are a limited number of spots, correct?
Yes. We have 50 spots.
50 spots, so they're going to fill up fast. Where can people go to get tickets?
We have an Eventbrite page for it. You can either look it up on Eventbrite as Cuisine of the French World, a trip to Cameroon, or you can go to the Alliance's Facebook page where there's a link to it on that, the Alliance Française de Lafayette on Facebook. So either way.
And so there's not going to be any alcohol there, correct? Can people bring their own bottles of wine or
Unfortunately not. We wish. I mean, I'm a good Louisiana girl. I'd love to bring wine everywhere.
Right. And I wanted to ask that too
but it's a matter of where we're having it. There's a security thing. So if there's alcohol, there has to be security guards and la-di-da-di-da. So.
And people should not feel not wanting to go if they do not speak French, correct?
No, absolutely not. It's not. It's going to be the kind of place where you probably if it hurts your ears to hear a word of French, then maybe not.
Maybe not.
But nobody's going to make you speak French. Everyone speaks French and English, and it's kind of a bilingual fun time.
Everybody's invited.
Yeah, everybody's invited.
Friends. I have my coworker. She's the ELA teacher in my classroom. She doesn't speak French. And she already purchased her ticket. She's coming with her husband, and she doesn't speak French.
You just have to yummy. It's spicy. I've never had Camerounese food, so I'm really excited.
I haven't either.
It's spicy food, right? Isn't it, Odile? It's kind of like
it can be
zesty.
Spicy, relevé. Relevé, c'est quoi en anglais? Quand tu dis relevé. Tasty. It's tasty. Yeah. Yes. So.
And anyone who is not familiar with the Alliance Française de Lafayette, what is your mission?
It's actually a really old international organization from the 19th century that is promoting French culture and language throughout the world. There's hundreds and hundreds of Alliance Françaises everywhere in the world, everywhere from Brazil to, India to everywhere. And so our mission, because we're in Lafayette, is specific to, kind of connecting France and Louisiana and our heritage here and the French roots that we have and teaching French, particularly to adults more so than kids, because we have so many wonderful immersion programs. Right now we have a class going on for immersion parents. So parents of immersion students who are trying to figure out what the heck their kids' homework says. And it's just about educating people and promoting French culture and language.
Is there going to be a cutoff for when people can purchase the tickets, or you're going to do them right up to the day of the event?
Maybe not to the day, but we have to figure out how much stuff.
Yeah, we need to plan.
Probably the day before.
Yes. It's,
so Thursday, Friday, I guess. Friday would be the cutoff.
Friday would be the last day. All right, so that is the Cuisine of the French World, a trip to Cameroon. Again, it's happening Saturday, March 18th. $30 for one ticket, or couple gets $50. Hey, couple, you get a little bit of a discount there.
Please.
Great date night.
And it's happening at the UL Alumni Center. And for more information, you can go to the Alliance Française de Lafayette Facebook page, and there's links for it there. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm looking so forward to this event.
Yay, thank you.
So much for having us.
Okay, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Kory. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Kory Champagne with Acadian Slice. Okay, so much just happened in the commercial break. We were talking about how much I'm looking forward to this dinner Saturday, the Cameroon. I love the idea of that. I love taking the French-speaking countries, which we should be doing, and doing dinners showing the cuisine of those countries. It's not just France, it's African countries, it's Asian countries, and I'm excited about this idea for that.
A lot of the ingredients, especially in the entree, she was using sweet potatoes, and cream spinach. It was a lot of familiar things that we eat.
And it's learning more about the history of your food. So I love it. Such a great idea. So. Okay, and then Rob Kirkpatrick, who's with KPEL, texted me and said, can we just have a show that talks about the glory that is brioche bread? So we went on a little tangent about brioche bread, about how we both enjoy it. Yes. But you mentioned, and I've went on a rant on this because I love Anthony Bourdain, but I disagree with him wholeheartedly. What did Anthony Bourdain say about brioche bread?
Makes the worst hamburger bun. But I feel like I'm not trying to pretend like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
And if I remember correctly, he said egg bread, and I hate egg bread for a hamburger.
His theory was that you don't want it to soak up any grease, I think.
And that's a lie. That's a dirty lie.
Something to soak up the grease.
And maybe he hasn't had the wonderfulness that is Poop Art's brioche bread on a Juicy Lucy, because all the places here that make good hamburgers use Poop Art's brioche bread, and it is the best hamburger bun.
I'm going back down to Lafayette.
And then also Dark Brew makes their own brioche bread.
I feel like everybody
and does their hamburger, and it's amazing. I love the fact that you'll get the crispiness that it's been cooked on the grill, but then it's holding all that grease from the burger. So, okay, so we talked 5 seconds about brioche buns. So maybe Rob will be happy about that. I mean, maybe we should have a whole show. We had a lot to talk about it. And during the commercial break.
Brioche pies.
Okay, you brought me some beautiful, yummy smelling hand pies. Tell us about these pies that you brought.
The ones I brought today are the Ponchatoula Pop-Tart. It's the one I'm doing now. It's a seasonal fruit. The strawberries are starting to come in season. So we cook those down and we put them in the pie crust, the all butter pastry crust that I make everything from hand, with a lemon glaze and some toasted pistachios on top of it. And I've had it for a couple of weeks now at the market, and it's become very, very popular. And I'm going to keep doing it until I run out of strawberries.
I love the tartness of it. You said that some
lady told me it tasted like strawberry lemonade.
And it's pretty accurate. It's strawberry lemonade and a pie crust.
The fruit stuff. Even when I was doing apples in the wintertime, I don't add a lot of sugar to it. I keep it pretty simple because I don't want it to taste like a dessert. I want to taste the fruit, and
I love fruit hand pies.
Yeah. And those have been pop. I do the savory ones too. The boudin pesto is far and away my number one seller.
Really?
I think it's just because it has boudin. It wouldn't matter. But the fruit ones, I think a lot of people like because they do change. Because I keep it really seasonal. I try not to buy anything frozen or in cans. Whatever I can find fresh. It might not be local. Like I did a cherry pie, and you can't grow cherries in Louisiana.
Right.
But I try to change that one up with the seasons. Like right now with the strawberries, and then I'll do throughout the summer whatever I can get my hands on. I'll throw into that pie crust.
So how did you get your start? How did this love of pie come about?
It wasn't. It was something I just taught myself to do. A lot of people are completely dumbfounded by the fact that this wasn't an old grandma's recipe, or my mom didn't teach me, or that my wife doesn't help. It's like, I'm a man who bakes pies. It's not that complicated. But I did most of my home cooking on a project basis. I said, I want to learn to can and preserve something. So I did that, and I was doing that around our wedding time, and I made 300 jars of strawberry champagne jam. And
is that what you gave away?
We gave them out as wedding
Nice.
favors. But then I would move on from thing to thing, and I got to pie crust. I said, I really want to learn how to make a good pie crust. And I did it, and then I started playing around with the fillings, and just like everything else, tried it out on friends and family and stuff like that, and it just kind of took off. And noticing people were really responding to it, and then I just took a chance and started selling it at the farmer's market very nervously because I've never worked in the food industry. I have no ties to restaurants. I have no idea how to cook efficiently in the kitchen, but it took off, and I'm just still continuously learning as I go.
Do you sell out almost at every market?
That was the hardest part at first at the market, was to figure out how much. The first day we went, on a Saturday morning, we sold out really early.
Wow.
I didn't bring enough. And I was always super paranoid about not having enough or having extra to take home and waste stuff. But I started growing it a little bit more, and right now I'm at comfortable in terms of baking time and transport there in my own vehicle of how much I bring. So I pretty much bring the same amount every time now. And I'm sold on like 3 dozen of each flavor, and I usually bring 4 flavors.
And you do the hand pies. You have sweet and savory. Yeah. Do you do the whole pies at the market too?
I was doing the whole pies at first at the market, but they really weren't selling because it's a lot to take home and carry a whole thing. But I still do those by special order. So I'll still have people. I have a menu up on the Facebook pages. And just like everything else, it does change with the seasons. And so, but I have some that you can make year round, like cream pies and stuff like that. But people special order those, and they can pick them up at the market and also do delivery. And if you just give me a day or two's notice, we'll make arrangements to pick up or deliver.
I had wanted to order one from you from Christmas. I think it was called Chocolate Thunder, and it was chocolate and mint.
The mint version.
Yeah, and chocolate mint is my favorite.
That's been a big combo. For Christmas, also did we did the snowflake, SNEAUX flake.
Okay.
But we did a white chocolate and peppermint, like peppermint bark flavors. We did that one at the Christmas in the Park they had.
Okay.
And that was a pretty big hit too.
We also have something in common in that we both have day jobs that are in the medical field. So what is your day job?
I ride around all day on an ambulance, on the boo-boo bus, and do all the things entailed with that job.
And we were kind of talking about how we have full-time jobs, but then also doing things on the side, and how time-consuming that is. And then yours is almost doubled because you also have a wife and kids.
They're very, very supportive and understanding wife, because she's in the artistic realm too. But she deals with the messy kitchen and the time constraints, and she's a night owl too, so she doesn't mind staying up a little later with me.
Do you sleep at all?
On Friday nights before market, I do not sleep. So don't be surprised when I tell people that anymore. But that's just how it's going to have to be for a while.
I know I know the feeling.
But I come home on those Saturdays, and she's usually still at work, and I climb into bed with my 2-year-old, and we just crash out for like 3 hours. We have a father-son nap time on Saturdays, and we just go away from the world.
I was talking to you too about how the busyness of my day job and the stressfulness of it. Cooking for me is kind of a release, and it's a stress relief, and it's like, okay, I'm going to wind down now, or it's my thing that I can think about to kind of get away from the stress of everything else that's going on in life. Is that kind of what it is with the pie making with you?
Yeah, it used to be cooking for family and stuff that was always a stress relief, just getting to do what you wanted to do and where you got to choose and kind of be in control. But now, even those Fridays when I'm running around and not sleeping, I find it oddly relaxing to be up for 24 to 36 hours straight. You know, it's surprisingly not very stressful. It was at the beginning because I still felt really uncomfortable cooking for people. But now it's just a process. It's more organized, but it just takes that amount of time. But it's still definitely less stressful than the day job can sometimes be.
What was the very first pie that you made?
The very first pie, I think I made a peach and blueberry pie for my wife because she likes peaches a lot. And but then I started making the hand pies, and I would do like a pulled pork, a barbecue type, and bring those around. I did some breakfast ones with some eggs and stuff. But yeah, it was all about the crust. Once I found.
How long did it take you to perfect the crust?
There was a couple of wasted versions, but once I found, I decided on that I wanted to use all butter, no Crisco or lard or anything like that. And once I kind of tweaked it around and figured it out, then it's super versatile. I use the same crust for everything: hand pies, whole pies, and it makes it a lot easier. But it's perfect. It works for everything.
That's interesting that you use butter, because I would think I mean, typically when I think of those, when I think of pie, I think of lard in the pie
or lard
Crisco.
Or Crisco.
Yeah.
But it's just all, sweet cream, unsalted butter. That's the only fat in there. And I think.
Do you think that's the secret to your perfect pie crust?
I don't know if it's a secret. The proportions are the secret. Yeah. And how the process is not, it's not super secretive. I'm not doing anything revolutionary, but it's just you have to pay attention to pie crust when you're making it, because there's certain things you can't do. If you play around with it too much or it's too warm, it has to, I think that's the thing most people are afraid of, is they're afraid to make the dough or the crust, whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely the most time-consuming and tedious part of it, because it takes a little bit more work than most other things, and it definitely makes the most mess.
I think that's why I like fruit pies so much. Is really the crust. It's really about the crust.
Because you get that salty butteriness from the crust, and then you get a sweet or tart filling. I think it works, and even like some of the chocolate fillings, like the fillings that are really rich, that saltiness plays into some of those fillings, and I think that it surprises a lot of people that those work together.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. It's delicious. You were saying that you sell just the pie crust for people that want to.
I'll probably start giving those out, because a lot of people have been requesting. For that reason, I think they want to make them at home, but they're afraid to make the dough. So I'm thinking I'm going to start selling some of the dough rounds for people to make it there. And all you would have to do is roll it out and then shape it how you wanted it. But yeah, they want the dough. So I think I'm going to give it to them.
Has the sweet or the savory been more popular?
It varies so much, because I would do one weekend, everybody would buy the sweet one. So I said, okay, well, I'll double up on those. And then the next weekend, everybody buys the savory one. So it's kind of hard to tell. And then I'm getting now, people are just buying one of each. They'll say,
That's what I did.
Give me the boudin pesto and give me the strawberry one. And usually it's the men that come stand on the savory side, and then their wives will stand in the sweet stuff. But I pretty much bring the same amount every time now. So if it sells, it's fine. It's usually.
And you source your boudin from a place.
Bio's in Broussard.
Which
that is my favorite. Yeah.
Andrew Zimmerman just made a visit out there. I have never been.
I'm sure
I need to go check it out.
They have a back section where they keep all the organ meats and stuff. So I'm sure he probably liked that section.
Checked it out over there.
Bit. But I like theirs. I think they make a smoked boudin, which I've used once or twice in it. But with the pesto, you really lose the smoked flavor. But I use just their standard, and I usually take a hot link home when I'm doing it.
A little extra.
Yeah, but I think theirs it's not too spicy. It has a good onion flavor to it, so I like theirs the best.
Vice TV also went there too. Yeah, I need to go check this out.
They ate it on the hood of a car outside with some crackling. So
see,
everyone they got the good experience.
Always associates Scott with boudin, but Broussard has a lot of boudin too.
I think that at one time Broussard was kind of known as the boudin area in town, and I think Scott kind of
stole it from them.
They have a lot. They have Billy's and Best Stop and Don. They have a lot more places out there.
But it's all like the same family, really.
So maybe now Scott might be the boudin capital, but I think for a while
Broussard has a lot.
Known to do it. Yeah.
I've been wanting to do the boudin tour.
Boudin trail.
The trail.
They have the official
Boudin
they have
trail. A boudin trail.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
My dad has come visit a couple of times, and he is very familiar with the boudin trail.
I have a food blogger friend that came down from Shreveport. She was off one day, and she's like, I'm doing the boudin trail. Yeah. I was like, oh, well, you need to make sure to hit up these places. I don't know if they're on the trail.
They probably are. There's a lot of places.
You definitely need to go. And
I want to add my boudin pesto hand pie needs to be part of the trail.
I feel like boudinlink.com.
He came out and tried that one and really liked it. He also is the one that runs King Caker.
Yes.
Same guy. And he liked the King Cake version, the cinnamon cream cheese that we did for that time.
And he is a tough critic.
Hey, he loved it.
He recently just gave a place out of Crowley a bad review. I love it.
He gave me 11 out of 12 babies on that King Cake pie. So.
You got 11 out of 12 babies.
I beat meshes.
Oh.
Wink, wink. But,
nice. I feel like that's an advertisement in the making. 11 out of 12 King Cake babies.
On the meshes King Cake. But he really liked it, and he's become a regular customer. He comes to the market all the time, and he likes most of the stuff I give him. And I mean, coming from someone like him who, like you said, is kind of known to be a little tough.
He is, and he is not afraid. I love it. I love
he's running that
honesty
website himself. He doesn't owe it to anybody, so but he's a really nice guy, and he's come out quite a bit.
He's been on the show a couple of times.
Really?
I love talking about boudin with him.
He's had it from everywhere.
Yeah. He's a good one to have on your side too, especially
I'm happy
with your boudin.
Happy he's a fan.
All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Kory. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and we've been talking all things pie with Kory Champagne of Acadian Slice. And I also want to mention that the Hardy Party is happening next week. It's happening next Thursday, and it's going to be from 6 to 9 at Vermilionville. Lots of food vendors, silent auction items, Chubby Carrier. And the most exciting thing about it for me, we were discussing this before the show, is the pottery wine glasses that you can get there. They're one of a kind. They're unique. I think it's like $10 for one. I got one last year and I absolutely loved it. And she was not going to do them this year. And I was like, no, you have to. It's so cool and it's so unique. So she went and she hand threw some more, and I actually like them better this year. I like the shape of them better. You were talking about drinking coffee out of them.
Sounds like it would make a good coffee.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that. So that's, another option for that. So tickets are still available. It's $25 a ticket or $5 for kids before the event, or it's $30 day of event. So get your tickets. You should go.
Cool. Maybe so.
Kids are going.
I love them.
Kids go. You can bring your whole family and just have a time.
Wear them out.
Yeah. Let them run around. There's all kinds of kids there, too. It's so much food. It's so good. Loved it. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. All right. On last week's show, we had the cheesecake debate.
Oh, we did.
You were listening.
I listened.
We decided cheesecake is not cake,
no,
but is it a
cake.
Pie or a tart? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Claire and my wife, been arguing about this all day. I don't think that there is a real difference between pies and tarts, and I'm sure there's 1,000 pastry chefs that are screaming my name right now. But we almost determined that it's maybe based on like depth that features more of a fresh topping on top.
I feel like a pie crust comes up over.
It comes up a little higher,
and a tart is on the bottom.
And then they have the tart pans that you make with the ribbons on the side. So, but can you make a pie in a tart?
But then
pan?
It's like, what is a cobbler?
Exactly. But I mean, I think that it was probably just a translation thing, because I mean it translates to tart. So I think that when it came over, people just started calling it two different things, but they were actually.
But it's really the same thing. So a tart and a pie are the same thing.
Because I think that because most of them use the same crust. You use a buttered pastry dough, but some things people would look at it and say that's definitely a tart. But then you wouldn't even consider calling other things that. I don't know. But most people, I think tart is typically like shallower and maybe a fresh fruit or something on top. Like the emphasis may be on the toppings rather than the crust or a custard filling or something like that. I don't know.
And we should also specify that the hand pies are not like the sweet dough.
They're not sweet dough.
Pies.
It's an all, like I said, all butter pastry crust. So it's the same crust you would think of just on a normal pie. Because I know the sweet dough pies are really popular, like we were saying in St. Landry Parish, Grand Coteau area.
I don't think I've ever had one.
They're good. Like like I was saying, there is a company, I think it's Acadian Bakery, that makes them. You could see them in the gas station sometimes, and it's a sweet dough. And then Miss Francis makes them at the market. But it's just different. It's a whole different thing. So if you're looking for sweet dough pies, I'm not your man. But they do have someone at the market making them. And I think there's some shops in Opelousas area, like bakeries that are making sweet dough
there's a lot.
pies.
And they have the Sweet Dough Festival in Arnaville.
And I think that it's different, but it's good. It's regional. I think more than most.
And
things.
I was telling you that part of the reason why I love ham pie so much is that when I was little and I would go stay with my grandmother in the summer, she had apple trees, which I know is really weird for Louisiana, but it's in North Louisiana, and they were tart. They were pie apple trees, and she would make hand pies. Now, I was talking with you. I don't think she made the dough from scratch. I'm pretty sure she used canned biscuits, and she kind of rolled it out. Yeah. But in the apple, you would add cinnamon and sugar. She'd make these little hand pies, and she'd fry them. So they were fried hand pies, which is Southern. Yeah. And, in North Louisiana, that's
I had to specifically write baked hand pies on my little chalkboard sign at the market, because a lot of people just assume they see a hand pie and assume it's fried. But that was one thing early on. I didn't want to fry them. I really wanted to have them baked, and mostly because I didn't want to have to deal with 350-degree oil and boiling in my house all the time.
God. Could you imagine if you were frying them up at the market?
I can't even. The process for that just. It's not even something I would consider. I enjoy baking them. I think you get a different texture from the crust. It's a different thing. I think you get a little bit more rise out of them when you bake them, because you can see in some of them you really see the layers of the dough, because it's almost a biscuit dough with no leavening agents.
Right.
It's that. So when you eat it by itself, it tastes like a biscuit. And I think that's kind of what most people like about it. And if it was fried, it would just have a whole different consistency to it.
And then the Hostess hand pies that are completely different from when I was a child.
That was more almost like a sweet dough pie, like a sweet bread type, like a Hubig's kind of thing.
Like completely glazed. And then I always got the cherry or the lemon were my favorite. And I loved to eat those when I was little, but I got one a while back, and it did not, they changed that formula so bad.
That's what you get for eating somebody else.
I don't know.
Not Hubig. You should have just stuck with Hubig's pie.
I've never had a Hubig.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well,
I know. I've only had Hostess.
You're out of luck now because they burned down.
I know.
I think Tasty Cakes. Who's that?
I've had Tasty Cakes before.
And what's the other? Haydale's is a bakery out of New Orleans, and they kind of moved in after Hubig's burned down. And it's the same type of pie. It's a sweeter dough, and they put the fruit fillings in it. But Haydale's is a New Orleans company.
I'll have to check.
And they're starting to show up, in the vacant Hubig's spot on the countertops. You'll see at some of the places.
What's for the future for Acadian Slice?
Good question.
I don't know.
The market has been great. I haven't even been there a year now. So, and I feel like I'm still just getting comfortable with the whole routine of that. But eventually I'd really like to, everybody's food dream, you want to have your own spot. I think the next goal is I'm kind of waiting on the Acadiana Food Hub for Zach McMath to get that going. And I know he's got
to maybe get into some of the stores.
Yeah, because right now I'm technically operating under the cottage food laws. And so when I'm cooking in that kitchen and everything's licensed and sanctioned, then I can give it out to restaurants and coffee shops and kind of even push them around town a little bit more, places that aren't the market, because I'm trying to, I like the market. I love it. And no matter what happens, I'll still always have something there. But if it's ever going to become something more, it kind of needs to grow. It needs to make some money Monday through Friday and not just Saturday morning. So I really want it to grow from there. That's why I really push the special orders. And I'm doing a wedding coming up, and I'm doing Pie Day at the worst. And so I really want to start doing more things outside of the market also.
Yeah, let's talk about Pie Day.
Pie Day, 3.14. It's kind of a meme hipstery trend, I guess, that most people like to celebrate.
In school,
I love it. I'm not complaining about it at all. And so we'll be at the Worst Beer Garden downtown. It's going to be us, and they're going to have some other vendors there, but I just sent them a message and asked them if I could set up a tent or sell some stuff there, and I think it's going to be fun. I mean, they'll be open anyway, so I'm sure they won't complain about maybe pulling some more people there, but it's going to be fun. And there's some people that bought pies because they wanted to give them out and celebrate Pie Day all on their own, so it's going to be fun.
Very cool.
I think it's going to be a new thing, a change of pace. A lot of people who haven't seen us at the market might be there, so.
If you could only eat one pie for the rest of your life, what pie would it be?
One pie. I think maybe the pecan pie that I make might be my favorite because it's really, really dark. I toast all the pecans till they're borderline burnt because I love that flavor. And then I use a lot of steins and I brown the butter. So it doesn't have that typical, because I have to fight with people about this when the fall comes around.
It's like diabetes.
It doesn't have that weird corn syrupy layer that you get from I double the pecans that you get in most recipes. And I had one guy actually complain and thought it was burnt, but I said that's the way it is, and it's so good.
I'm gonna have to try that because
it's probably
I
the most decadent
my
pie. Also,
grandmother's pecan pie,
and it's not. I'm not trying to argue with anyone's grandma that this is how pecan pie should be. Even though the grandmas come to the market and argue with me in the mornings, but it's super dark and it's really rich. It's hard to get through a whole piece of it.
Pecan pie is so sweet. Like I don't like super sweet pies, and I will only eat hers. Like she'll make it for me for Christmas usually, and I usually only have like one slice from it because
but this one
I
toast and salt the pecans too, so it's got a couple of different flavors going on. But it's probably my favorite one.
Yum! I love it. That sounds so good.
I love it, and I like really tart fruit ones.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna do that, like a lemon with fruits, the strawberries I keep really tart. So
nice. And when you're not eating pie, where do you like to eat around town?
Where around town? We ate at Pop's Po' Boys last night, and that was absolutely delicious. I had one of their daiquiris for the first time.
I love that they're doing the daiquiris.
I had the Arnold Palmer,
the bougie one, that has the champagne in it.
It was really good. We eat a lot of the Vietnamese places around town. We eat a lot of pho. So we eat that quite a bit. The vermicelli noodle bowls we're big fans of. And
I had Pho Saigon Friday night.
That's my favorite one. The one on Ambassador.
It smelled so good walking in there.
That's my favorite one in town. Have you had the lamb? They do a lamb.
I haven't.
Pho.
Their banh mi is one of my favorites, so I always get the banh mi.
That's my favorite.
And I wanted pad thai.
Yeah.
And I like traditional pad thai, like the glass noodles. And a lot of places do them with like the thin angel hair, which they did, but it was good.
Yeah,
like
that's my favorite.
It was a good one. It wasn't the best.
There's one downtown I saw last night, Photastic.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. But we pretty much hit up all the...
Have you tried the sushi at Pho Saigon? Because I didn't want to just for the principle of the matter, but I know people that do eat sushi there.
I went through a big sushi phase, I guess you could say. We don't eat a ton of sushi anymore, but no, I haven't had it from a Vietnamese
It smells
restaurant.
So good in there. Yeah. They do karaoke too. They have a disco light in there, and
I miss that. Probably, yeah.
I want to know what nights they do it on.
They do karaoke
because I want to go and watch. Yeah. I do not want to sing, but I would like to watch it while I eat my food. They do hot. I had hot pot there. That was the first place I ever had hot pot. Was there, but oh my god, I walked in and I was just like, it smelled so good. It's like I don't want to leave. It smells so good in here. What are some other things besides Vietnamese and po' boys?
I eat a lot of plate lunches at work because of driving around, and so we have, the best plate lunch town in America. So we eat a ton of those, and most I like the specialty meat places always have surprisingly good plate lunches.
And people don't think to get them there.
They always have, like B.O.'s. We went the other day and they had cabbage rolls from B.O.'s, and it was awesome.
I have passed this place.
You have to.
A million times.
We've talked about it twice now on the same show. It's
check
good.
Them out, and I need to.
You walk in there and it seems underwhelming because it's a tiny little place. Yep, but it's really good. Shout out to B.O.'s.
They're getting all the love on the show and in the media.
shout out to Broussard.
Apparently,
that's where my wife's family business is. Shout out A&A Sewing in Broussard, Louisiana. but Broussard's a nice little spot. That's where I got married. So.
What future pie concoctions do you think you want to try?
Future concoctions. I'm always looking for inspirations. Sometimes they're absolute failures, and sometimes they work. I want to bring back, I did like a smoked Gouda macaroni and cheese.
What?
Like a carb
disaster.
I'm thinking about bringing that one on Tuesday to the worst.
If you have it on Tuesday, I will go
did it. It was like smoked, it was tasso and smoked Gouda in that same pie crust. It was really good. So I think I'll probably do that one again.
My stomach is just like, yes.
Yeah. And your blood sugar's just going up just talking about it from all the carbs.
As I plan to eat my low carb cauliflower crust pizza tonight, I'm like, yes, give me this. Yeah,
definitely
this
my most glutinous creation.
Kory, thank you so much for coming.
I had a blast.
Tonight. This was fun. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Tiffiany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.
Bye-bye.